Yeah.
Yeah. It's floating up.
It's last night it was 27.
Okay, good evening, everybody. If you'd like to say your name and where you're calling from as you're coming on the call.
Hi, JJ here.
Hi, JJ.
Good evening to you.
Good day.
Yeah, very good day. Very good day.
Good.
A
Good
very
evening,
profitable
everybody.
day today.
Say your name and let us know where you're calling from.
Hi, Duncan. Nigel Chester.
Hi, Nigel.
Beth from UK, Birmingham.
Hi, Beth. Good to have you on.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Colin from Barnsley.
Hi, Colin from Barnsley. From Barnsley.
Duncan, Steve Allen, how are you?
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Abel Cavallo, joining from Johannesburg, South Africa.
Wow, good to have you on.
Thank you.
Who was that, Robert? Hello, Robert from Belgium. How are you, mate?
Hi, Duncan. It's Martin from Sussex.
Hi, Martin.
Tony from Preston.
Hi, Tony. Good to have you on the call.
Hi, Daryl from Stafford.
Good evening, everybody. Alam from London.
Hi, Alan. Okay.
Hi, Duncan. Eugene, South Africa.
Seconds, and then we shall start. Anybody else just want to announce the name and let us know where you're calling from?
Hi, Duncan. This is Irene from Milton Keynes.
Hi, Irene.
Hi.
Hi, Duncan. Trevor from South Africa.
Hi. There's another one from South Africa tonight.
Hi, Duncan. Colin from Birmingham.
Hi, Colin.
Hi, mate. You also got Eugene from South Africa. I think you missed him. Then he just shouted out.
Oh, that's right.
Hello.
Hi, Eugene.
I am Mecca from Nigeria.
Hi, Amika. Good to have you on.
Thank you.
Hello, Darren from Bristol.
Hi, Darren. Okay, I'm going to get started because we've got a lot to go through tonight. I'm going to mute everybody just to make sure that no dogs are barking in the background.
As quickly as you can.
Okay, let me just share my screen and I'm just going to press record. And move that out of the way. And if somebody could just let me know if you can see that screen.
Yes, absolutely fine. JJ here.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody. Welcome to 50/50 Crowdfunding. My name's Duncan Ward. I'm calling from North Wales. Just to give you a very brief background, I've been making a full-time living from network marketing originally many years ago, too many years to mention. And eventually I started making a full-time living online, and I've been doing that for the last 10 years. But this last year was the worst year I've had for about 40 odd years, to be honest. Like a lot of people, I've been let down by company after company, overstating, under-delivering, badly managed, being let down themselves by payment processors that went into liquidation, you name it. I've seen it and done it. To be honest with you, I was sick to death of it. It has ruined a lot of people's work and effort, and a lot of people have lost money. And I actually ended up in a very serious financial situation where there was more money going out than money coming in, and you can only last for so long when that happens. And I knew I needed something. I didn't know what, didn't have a clue what to do. But a very good friend of mine, John Van Derzen, told me or messaged me about, he sent me a video. I did watch it. I shouldn't have watched it that day. I was in a bad place, and I didn't do anything about it. He sent me another message about a week later, and in that he stated that he had been in this system for 16 days and he'd received in the bank 56,000. Well, I don't know about you, but I had to call him. I needed to know what. I needed to know the ins and outs of it. I wanted to know every detail of this system, the company, the people behind it, how it worked, what was unique about it, everything. And cut a long story short, I ended up joining that night. I sent 2 donations, one to John, one to a gentleman called Joe in Canada. And I was having my tea. Joe happened to call me to thank me for sending him his donation. I got chatting to him. He told me a similar story. I asked him same things as I asked John, and I asked him how long he'd been doing this. He said the same time as John, because he was the one that introduced John. So cut a long story short, I went to bed that night, hadn't spoken to anybody, hadn't introduced anybody, woke up in the morning and I had $250 in my bank account. I've never been involved in a business where I didn't do anything, hadn't even started, and I already broke even. So I'd like to welcome you tonight. We're going to have a short presentation. I'm going to do a brief overview. Hopefully everybody on this call has listened to the short video. It's either an 8-minute or a 4-minute. And then we're going to have quick questions and answers, but more important, we're going to go through some training tonight. We're actually going to take you in the back office and go through the site on both sites, the 50/50 site, the main site, and the new site, the 50/50 Fast. And hopefully things like the Mobius loop will make more sense, and we'll also show you some of the things that you might not know about in your back office. So it's going to be an interesting night. But first of all, for the new people, if you're like me, I knew about crowdfunding, but didn't fully know about it, if you know what I mean. Crowdfunding has been around for thousands of years. If you think about it, what did people do before we had to get mortgages from banks to buy a house? If you didn't have banks, how would you build a house? Well, people used to group together in communities and help each other. And we've kind of steered away from that. But that is what crowdfunding is. It's literally a group of people helping each other for a project or cause, whatever it might be. And because of the internet, crowdfunding is really coming to the front now. It's been around for years, but because of the internet and now mobile phone, crowdfunding is growing phenomenally. So why crowdfunding? Well, we've all remember the last banking crisis. It won't be the last one, because I honestly think the next one will be even bigger than the last one, because the banks are causing the problem. They're failing us. They're manipulating the system. They're depleting the value of the pound in your pocket because they're printing money, which is making the pound or the dollar or whatever currency you use worth less. And nobody trusts them. So humans being humans decided to find a solution, and crowdfunding is one of those solutions. Well, I don't know about you, I don't know any other solution, to be honest with you, apart from borrowing it. And when you borrow money, you end up paying interest, and generally it's the banks again that gain from that, and you just end up in a trap. So there is a solution, and the solution is crowdfunding. So who is also crowdfunding? Well, you've probably heard, like I have, a lot of these companies. Indiegogo, I'd heard of them. I didn't really know what they'd done, what they do actually. But all these companies, these are the top 8 or 10 companies in the world right now involved in crowdfunding on the internet. And they together generate millions of dollars going through their system for people, for whatever reason they want to raise that those funds for. So is crowdfunding big? Well, do your own research, check it out. According to Wikipedia, $34 billion has been donated through this industry in the last 3 years alone. And this is still growing, and it's growing fast. And how fast is it growing? Well, according to industry experts, it is one of the fastest growing it's one of the fastest growing industries in the world, growing at 136% every year. So this is not getting smaller, this is getting bigger. And there is a reason. It's because of the banking system, and people, a lot of people around the world, some people still haven't got banks. They might be lucky, actually. So who else crowdfunds? Now, when you hear about major companies like PayPal, the world's largest payment provider, they are now allowing people to use their system, PayPal, as a platform to raise funds for any purpose that you want. Now, social media is the same. You all recognize this company, Facebook, one of the biggest social media sites, and they now allow you to add a button in your Facebook page which will allow anybody in the world to donate to you for whatever reason you want. You don't have to have a specific reason or give it. So can anybody crowdfund? Yes, they can. You don't have to be a big company to get donations. You can literally be, or anybody can do it. Here is an example of a broke father who wanted to raise some funds for his family just so he could give his family and kids a good Christmas. £2,000 was raised literally in a matter of hours. So who's behind this? This is one of the key questions. This gentleman, David T. Rosen, is a Canadian. He's widely regarded as an expert in the crowdfunding arena. The reason is because he founded a similar platform in 2002, which still runs today. It's been running for 16 years. Now, remember this, back in 2002, we didn't have the social media like we do now, or the internet wasn't like it is now. And also we didn't have iPhones. Mobiles weren't anything like they are now. So imagine starting a system back in those days, 16 years ago. But this program is still running to this day. He sold it out. It currently has 670,000 members and has generated nearly 1 billion in donations between all those members. And it's still running to this day. So David is experienced in this industry, and he decided to keep the license and create an even better system, which is 50-50. And this company is estimated to grow by David 10 times bigger than the previous company. Now, why this company? Well, imagine if you'd got involved in some of these companies on the site here. Some of these now are the biggest companies in the world. They all started in our lifetime, and now they're literally taking over the world. So imagine if you'd have got involved in these at the beginning before anybody had really knew about what they were or what they did or how they made their money. timing is everything in any business. So imagine if you're offered a way to such a company like Google, how wealthy would you be today? Well, the time is now. 50/50 was launched in October 2018, literally a couple of months back. In fact, when I started, which is literally about 40 days ago, there were 500 people in this company. Right now, there's about 9,000. And we are literally, I'm not quite sure of the exact date, but it's about 2 months old, literally that. So you're right in at the beginning. Couldn't be a better time to get started in an industry that's growing by 63% a year and is not going to slow down. So how does it all work? Well, 50/50 is the world's first crowdfunding system that allows you to receive half of everything that happens in your donation center, and that carries on for as long as you keep donating. So 50/50 is based on the world famous Mobius loop. I'm going to talk more about this later, but this is what was unique and it is unique about this company. And this company uses the System G technology, the most successful 2x2 Following Me donation center in history. And there's the key, follow me. So basically, the Mobius loop is a system that anybody you personally introduce follows you through from the first level, wherever you start, right up to the highest level. It is as simple as that. So it's not a system that you have to do all on your own. 50/50 is a team crowdfunding system. So what that means, it gives you help from above, from obviously yourself, your own efforts, and people you've introduced from below. And the good thing is you can receive donations literally seconds after registering. So this is one of the key points I wanted to talk to about John, with John. 50/50 is a peer-to-peer team crowding system. What does that mean? It's person-to-person, basically, which means there is no middlemen. There is no money from the donations going to the company. 100% of the donation gets assigned to the person it gets assigned to. And you can track every person that's sending you a donation and every person that's donating or you're donating to them. So 50/50 provides you with an easy to navigate, totally automated dashboard that displays everything in real time, allowing you to monitor your donations second by second. So how do you get started? Well, there's 3 simple steps. The first thing is you need to get the link from your sponsor and register, pay the $29 to the company. That is the only money you ever send to the company. Then you need to become what's called an active donor. And as the name suggests, 50% goes to one person, 50% goes to another. 50% goes to your sponsor and 50% goes to the person you happen to drop under in the matrix. And just while we're talking about that, the matrix cannot be manipulated. Nobody can stack people. Nobody can position people. It literally fills from the nearest open position from left to right down to the bottom level left to right. Simple as that. When I heard that, that's what caught my attention. Nobody can scam it. Nobody can fiddle it. Nobody can cut you out. Brilliant. So what you do once you've become an active donor, just find 2 other people who, like you, want to give, share, and receive, and just help them do exactly the same. So help those 2 introduce 2, and you will have 6 positions filled on your matrix. And that is the same through every level, right way through this system. So there's you, or there's 2 positions directly below you, and there's 4 positions below that, 2 each. And just remember, that's not you. It could be your upline filling those positions. It could be you, or it could be the person you've introduced or the 2 people you've introduced. Either way, it's a group effort. So 50% is donated in your centers, and there are actually 5 centers, although there's 3 more being added. So we'll talk about that later today. So the first level on this site is the 250 level. This is where I joined. This is what I've only outlaid. And just while we're talking about that, that is the only amount you'll ever be out of pocket. you will now receive, once you've donated, 6 donations of 125. So that will be a total of 750 once those 6 positions have been filled. Now, at any time you can upgrade. This is the next level, level 2, 500. You will receive at this level 6 donations of 250, equaling a total, once that is filled, of 1,500. And you would have the same 125s coming in from your level 1. Level 3 is the next level, $1,000. You receive at this level 6 donations at 500, so a total, once that's filled, of $3,000. Plus, remember, you would be running your 500 donation center and your 250 at the same time. Then there's the level 4, the 2,000 level, with all the other levels again running together. You would receive at this level 6 donations of $1,000, and that would give you a total of 6,000. And the last level, which is the 5,000, sorry, the level 5, the 4,000 level, you'll receive 6 donations at 2,000 each. That's a total of 12,000. Plus, remember, you've got your level 4, your level 3, your level 2, and your level 1. Now, you can only ever have one open level at each 5 levels. Just so you know, you couldn't have, as an example, 2 level 1s open or 2 level 2s open. There's only ever one open at any one time. Okay, so let's talk about level 1 at the 250 level. You would receive from the first person who joins and donates 125 from them. Then you would have another 125 from the second person that you introduced. And now, if you just help those 2 people do the same, the first person's first person would receive 125, but you also get 125. Now, help that first person, second person, and they would receive 125, and you would get 125. And that just keeps going until all 6 positions have all donated, and you, at the top of that matrix, would have received a total of $750 minus your 250. That means you're $500 up, and you can do that again and again and again. Every time that matrix is full, you have a choice. You can either stop and that's it, or you could decide to donate again and do it again and again and again. You can carry on for as long as you want. Okay, so that's the basic presentation. I'm just going to stop sharing. And just before we go through the back office, we'll just have a quick questions and answers. If there's anybody that wants to ask a question, now is the time to ask it. I know Colin's on the call. There are only a few questions people generally ask. One is about legality. Well, I can tell you now, I spoke to my solicitor. I'm not going to go through it in detail tonight, but I can tell you now categorically, whatever anybody tells you, if they say to you it's illegal, I'm sorry, but they're wrong. It is totally legal. This is legal in every country throughout the world, and there is or solicitors' proof about that. The only other question that we tend to get is people think that the money is purely from new people coming into the system. Well, I can tell you now, I don't know about you, but I can tell you most people on this call that have experienced this in the last month, because not many people have been in it longer, well, nobody has actually, they will all tell you, as long as you keep donating, and I would imagine they would all carry on donating back into the system, you shall keep receiving. The only time that the receiving would stop is when you stop donating. Now, you imagine that's like any business. If you look after your customers will keep coming back to you. And hopefully you wouldn't have to go out and get too many new customers. So this system, like every business, yes, of course we want new customers. Of course we do. Every business does. Any business out there who stops getting new customers will die. That's why Coca-Cola still advertises, and yet everybody probably in the world has heard of that company. So ask yourself this question: why do they keep advertising? Because they have to keep number one. That's the same with every company. So it's an impossibility that it's going to stop, because it will carry on, especially right now with the need for something like this, with the banking system failing people. The other question people ask is, I'm just trying to think what the main questions are.
They'll ask about, Duncan, they'll ask about referring other people. Do they need to?
Oh yes, you're right there. Yes, do you have to refer? Is the other question? Well, yes, you do. Let me just explain. If you receive a donation without introducing anybody or without starting, and 75% of people do get at least one donation. Some of them get more than one. Some of them get into profit without introducing anybody. Now, my advice to you is don't rely on that. It can happen, and I hope it does happen to most of you, but it might not. And if it doesn't happen in the first cycle, I'll guarantee it will happen in the second cycle or the third cycle. The problem is, if somebody doesn't hang around long enough, it's like that saying about most people give up just at the point they're about to succeed. The trouble is they never realized it. If they'd have just carried on that little bit further, they would have got there. And that's exactly the same I see in this business or system. People start it, don't consistently keep doing it, and they slow down or stop before they actually understand what they've just walked away from. And hopefully tonight we are going to show you why you would be mental, to be honest, to walk away from this, because anybody that walks away from this does not understand it. And hopefully by tonight you will have a much greater understanding of how this system works. So that's our role tonight. Anybody, just before we start sharing the screen, want to ask any question? Now's your chance. Unmute yourself if you want to. No.
I'm also checking the chat. If anybody doesn't want to unmute themselves, because you might not want to talk, that's fine. Just put your question in the chat and I'll actually read it.
Just while you're there, let me just plug my computer in, because I'm going to...
One of the questions that I got asked the other day is, well, one observation that I got the other day was a person said to me he thought it was unethical for people to receive donations if they're not a charity. So I made it, well, look, you have to look after yourself first before you can help the next person. That is how it should be. In the search, put the words fundraiser and see what comes up. You will see clearly that you can have your own fundraising page. If you scroll to the bottom of that page, you'll see in big, bold words for your own person. So that tells you straight away that Facebook are aware that people around the globe are able to fundraise for their own personal use. If you're in debt because of the existing financial system that we have, why wouldn't you want to accept help from the globe? You know, it's there for everybody. Money together to buy something. Then a fundraise to help somebody else. All we're doing here is we have the software to have the whole globe as one global community. So we fundraise between ourselves. It's absolutely beautiful. And the nice thing about this, as Duncan says, is if you've come from a home-based business background, you'll know that the majority of people actually don't make any money in the home-based business, not the money that they're looking for. That's just the facts. Doesn't matter which company it is. I was speaking to a guy today who was explaining his fantastic home-based network marketing business, and I'm sitting there and I'm shaking my head. And I'm saying, look, you need to see what I'm doing. This has landed on my desk only 6 weeks ago. It is mind-blowing.
Colin, you're absolutely right. Do you know what? That's what disillusioned me with multi-level marketing, where I saw people paying a few £100 or dollars to get involved, and then they were tied into a monthly subscription or auto ship, and those people were joining it not often because of the product or the service. They were joining it for one reason: to make profit. And all I saw was so many people going into debt each month because they couldn't or didn't recruit anybody. and that's why I became disillusioned with it. And the actual statistics are 97% of people don't make a dime in in multi-level marketing.
That's right. As you said earlier, 75% of people within 50/50 crowdfunding will receive at least one donation. That's $125. 75%. That's extremely high. So everybody that's here for just starting, you stand a very good chance of receiving donations. You've got to do a little bit of work, and that is you share this opportunity with as many people as you can, especially when you've received a donation. Because I know I've had conversations today with people that have been around this for a few weeks. They haven't had all the donations that they've seen other people have. Now they're receiving donations. Now they're getting excited. Now they can see it working. And that's all it actually takes, is when you see it working, you'll start talking. It'd be good to get some testimonies on here today, actually, Duncan, if you could.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to put somebody on the spot. I hope she doesn't mind.
Go on,
I know she's very excited. Daryl, if you're on the call, would you like to tell us what your thoughts are at the moment? Is she on? I don't know if she's on or not.
Yes, she is on, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Daryl.
Yeah, hello.
Hi, Daryl.
Yes,
I know you've had a fantastic day today.
I've had a wonderful day. I mean, I've been a member for, is it 3 weeks now? Nearly 4 weeks?
It's not a long time, really.
No. And I've been plugging away to get my 2. And I've had some people interested, but not committing. And it's the money angle, you know what I mean? And when we've gone onto this lower platform, and I've registered for that today. And within hours, I received my very first donation. I received $75. And I was over the moon. Absolute, because it proves to me that just keep going, just keep faith in the system. And the people that have been interested but couldn't afford it have asked me for my link today for this one. So, you know, we'll get started at a lower level, but we will we'll plow on through and we'll get there. I'm still on the upper one, but, you know, they'll join me eventually. And I'll still be plugging away to other people anyway. And now that I've had success, you see, it gives me more confidence to be able to demonstrate that it works for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Daryl, what you've just said there is absolutely right. And that's why it's so important when you sponsor somebody. Sponsor actually means take responsibility, help them. And that's the whole point. If you can help somebody have success, you've just said it. It's totally changed how you feel, because success changes how you think and how you then speak to people. It's that's going to help you. So if you can help people have success, to me, that is the most important thing. Get somebody moving and some action going as quick as possible, because that's when you'll start seeing them changing.
Thank you.
I would like to testify.
Hi, Casper.
Hi. I started at the $250 level. Not much success there. I received one donation from the person I signed up, so that was working. But with this 50/50 fast system, you know, with these new levels, I thought, well, let me sign up for the $25 level. And when I registered for that, I hadn't even sent my money, and I already received 3 donations.
Fantastic. Well done, Casper.
And these people are people that I don't even know. I'm like, what the
Casper, what that's just shown you is how everybody will rotate round each matrix, and at every point.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You know, and I have heard it numerous times, but you only believe it when you actually see it happening before your eyes, and you see the donations flowing into your PayPal account. You're like, what? Really?
Casper, I'm really pleased for you because I know you struggle because of your speaking, but listen, fantastic. I love to see that. That's what inspires me to keep going and motivate me.
Just to add to this as well, now Casper has said he started at the very lowest level. Yeah. Now what will happen is that 2 people will follow him from that lowest level. He'll go up to the next level, they'll follow him to the next level. He's qualified for life on the next level. He'll have success there again, and he'll move up to the next level. Those 2 will follow him again, and he'll continually qualify for every single level. That's the beauty of being able to start right at the bottom and work your way through each step. There's no race going on here. People will go at their own pace. It makes no difference whatsoever. What's really strong is that I know that he will qualify every single level as he goes up now, because he started at the low level and people will follow him. When he starts at the 250, 500 or higher, it's fingers crossed on how quickly you can find somebody to do what you've just done. But I know that when you start at the bottom and you work your way up, people will follow you all the way through. So
yeah, I'm not sure what you mean there, Colin.
Okay.
I mean, I have signed up at this $25 level. At this moment, I have received 3 donations from people I don't even know, and there's a 4th one pending from someone I don't even know.
Excellent.
Well, I have signed up for that $50 level already.
That's great. That's great.
I haven't seen anything happening there.
Don't worry. It's all about timing. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that what will happen is you've had success already at the lowest level. So when you share that success with other people, you will have 2 people at least join you at that lowest level. Now, what will happen to those people? They are your directs. They will follow you. They will have success because everybody has 75% of people have success. So they will follow you. And eventually they'll go, right, I'm going up to the $50 level like you did. So now you're qualified on the $50 level because you've got 2 people on that level straight away. Now the system really starts to work. So not only do you have your people following you through the system, you've also got the Morbius loop, which we're going to show in more detail now.
Yeah.
What people you don't know also following you in the system. Absolutely beautiful. Hope that makes that a bit clearer.
Yeah. That's a lot better, yes.
The other thing, Casper, is it's much more likely to attract more people to join at the lower level than it is at the
top.
So you are likely to find more people that maybe join at that level, which, as Colin said, once you've got minimum 2, that is it. Then you start, and you'll start seeing it happen faster and faster.
And then what I imagine is these lower levels also cycle faster.
Yeah.
What I imagine is that even though it's small, but some snowball effect will come from that.
Exactly. Well, that's why it's called 50-50 fast, because it is fast. Now, listen, a lot of people on this call and in the whole organization as yet still haven't got their head around what we're talking about, because it's like anything, it takes a while for people or that information to get through to everybody.
Okay.
So
on the call, I say to you now, get in fast.
Well, that's what we're going to explain.
$25. What are we talking about?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen again, and Colin, if you, I'll just put everybody on mute for now. If anybody wants to unmute themselves while we're discussing various things about the back office.
Duncan, before you do, can I just interrupt? I think one of my ladies that's on today, lady, she did ask a question, and it came up on the screen at the bottom. So I don't know whether you've got it, Colin.
I'm just looking now. Who's it from? Sophia. Yeah.
Sophia.
Can anybody from the world donate to you? If so, how do you contact people who might like your cause? Well, Sophia, the answer to your question is this is open to anybody in any country, anywhere in the world. So the answer is yes, and yes, they can donate to you. Now, when you say who might like your cause, listen, what you've got to remember in this is for whatever cause you have. It doesn't really matter. The fact is, everybody has their own reason. Some people's reasons are bigger than others. My reason right now is I went back into debt. So my first target is I've got to look after myself, because before you can help people, you have to be in a position to be able to afford to help people, because bills keep coming in. And a lot of people say, oh, I'm not going to approach my friend because he's quite wealthy. Listen, wealthy people have big cars, big houses, and big bills. They still need to make money. And you look at we have a program in the UK called Dragon's Den with some of the wealthiest business people in the UK. They all invest in other businesses. They all want to make more money. So don't think that, just because somebody is loaded, that they aren't interested in or receiving donations for whatever it is. I was talking to a very wealthy guy today. Turns out he's extremely successful, but he also is like anybody. He lost a lot of money through the banking system. Now his goal is to get that money back by creating another business, but he doesn't want to go to the bank to borrow it because he hates the banks. When he saw this, he said, wow, this is amazing. So I can generate whatever revenue I want for my business without paying banks extortionate interest rates and being trapped in their system. So yes, it's open to anybody, literally. There's a message from Darlene here. This is from Mima's page, who is promoting 50-50, and all his MLM friends are beating him up with comments like this: gifting an MLM is illegal. Well, they're wrong. Simple as that. I'll tell you what it is. What you've got to understand is when other people in MLM businesses, Darlene, hear about a company like this and all the people it's attracting, they're frightened. They're frightened of losing their business. So what do? They start saying wrong things about it. They are totally wrong. They're ignorant, or they're arrogant, or they're just lying, because this is not illegal. It is totally legal. And it says an MLM is illegal. Cryptocurrency as a product, an MLM is illegal. I don't know what that means, but this is all crystal clear, not open to interpretation. Listen, I am literally bulletproof. I don't care what anybody says. It's just an opinion. My advice to you is go and do your own research so you become bulletproof. To me, it's like once you know for certain that what you're doing is totally good, ethical, and you're actually helping people, and there is nothing wrong with what we're doing, you will become unstoppable. And that's how I feel right now. I want to tell the world about this. All these people that are knocking it are probably annoyed because some of their people might have been involved in their business and they're now drawn to this business. Why? Probably because they're not making enough money in the business that they're in. That's probably why. The only reason somebody would not stay in the company they're with is because they're not earning enough. That's exactly the same as me. I've been let down by company after company. I'm fed up of it. What's Casper say? All truth passes through 3 stages. First, it's ridiculed. Yeah, I know what you're going to say. Second, it's violently opposed. Third, it's accepted and being self-evident. Yeah, absolutely right. When they say that word is going to spread and more people are going to start coming on board, you watch. It'll happen. You're absolutely right, Casper. Okay, I hope that helps, Darlene. Right, let me share my screen. I'm just going to put everybody on mute. And okay, and how do I share my screen again? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to log into my back office. I'm going to go into the original 50-50 first, just to go talk you through. Let me get rid of these slides. How do I get rid of this? Just 1 second. Okay. Oops.
You've been busy today.
I have, yeah. It's been mad. Right, just bear with me a second. Where is it? Okay. Can you all see this screen?
Yeah, we can.
I have only got one site, by the way. I need to delete those. I was just helping people. Okay, now this is your home page. You can see the figure I've received on the top there. Just so before we start, that is an amount I've received. So I just want to talk about that figure. That is not what I've earned. It's what I've received. It's not profit, because if you want to work out the profit, the name suggests what it is. You get 50% of what you receive. So if you want to work it out exactly, minus the amount you've donated off that figure there, and that is profit, if you want to call it that. Now, there is a page, I'm not quite sure where it is, that has the figure.
If you go to donation send number 1.
Is it?
Step number 1. Click here, that's it there, that will show you.
Right. Okay, so you can see there, I have donated $16,200 back into various people around the world. So if you minus that figure off that, the figure that's left is your profit. Okay, so there is the first lesson to everybody. That's like asking a company, you know, when you hear on Dragon's Den programs and they talk about turnover. Turnover is vanity, profit is sanity. Now, if you really want to work out your daily profit, divide whatever that figure is after you've minus the donations of that figure, divide it by the number of days you've been doing it, and there's your daily profit. I can tell you it's unbelievable when you work it out. Okay, so on this homepage, this is really what you should look at every day. There is, by the way, a currency converter here. I'm not sure, I haven't used this, but either way, you can go onto any currency converter and work it out exactly.
It does work well.
Work well. Good. I don't use that. I've got one saved, so I use that. But if you do want to convert your currency, there it is. You can work it out in every currency. So it is there if you've not noticed that. Now, this is the first one. When you first register, the first thing you need to do, as it says, step 1, you need to click here to see if you have any donations to send. Now, you can see currently I have none to send, okay, because there's none highlighted. They've all grayed out. So that's what you do every day. If you've just noticed, I've got some money come in. It's a fantastic business when you're working away and money just comes into your account. Okay, so go back to the home page, and the next thing you need to do is click here to see if you've got any donations received. Now, I've got this guy who's about to send his donation tonight, and I'm about to receive 2 donations of $2.50 each from there, and these 2 have been deleted out of the system. Let me just explain that while we're talking about it. If somebody does not, or you haven't received their donation, what you should do is click on their link. There's their email and their phone number if you want to phone them. I emailed this person and they didn't respond back. The other person who is obviously waiting as well, remember there's always 2 people waiting to receive a donation. If they don't receive it, maybe after the first day, I would email them, tell them that you are expecting a donation from them, that there might be a misunderstanding. So could they reply back and let you know, have they sent it? Or if they haven't sent it, are they intending to send it? If they don't respond back to you, my advice is on the second day, get them terminated. Because this system is designed to have people that are honest and ethical. And if they have agreed to send a donation and they've retracted from that agreement, then they need to be removed out of the system. So hope that helps. That's really it on that. If one thing I would say is don't register anybody unless they are ready to, with the funds to get going. Just while we're on this page, let me show you. These are the different levels. So there's my level 20, sorry, 250. Sorry, no, I'm not, I'm showing you the wrong. picture. Forget that, sorry. I'm going to go back to this page that we started on. Okay, so this is where you click here, or there's another place where you can put the different methods that you want to receive donations. Now, we'll just talk about this very quickly. All you need to do is you've got 3 boxes that you can fill. The first one you need to put in, as an example, PayPal or Bankwire or Bitcoin. The second one will be the, as an example, the PayPal email address or the bank sort code and account number. And the third box is for notes. So I'll give you an example. I'm here in the UK, so I have put UK Bankwire for people in the UK to send me the donation in sterling. And then I put international Bankwire with my IBAN and BIC code. Can somebody remind me what's that in America? It's slightly different word names, isn't it?
I think the ACH sorting code, something like that.
Okay.
Routing code.
That's right. Okay.
There's a key point you're making here, though, Duncan, which I've seen since we've had the new system come out. I've received different people to pay, and then I get to see how they've got their payments set up. There's many people that have got a bank wire, but they've only got their local currency bank wire. It's very important that you have your international bank details on there as well, because you may get payments from across the globe. So that's quite important.
Yes, the point there is that you're right there, because you have to remember you might have been sponsored by maybe somebody in the UK, but you don't know who you're going to drop under. And whoever that person is, as you say, Colin, and you're absolutely right, could be somebody in Australia, it could be somebody in Canada, it could be somebody in New Zealand, anywhere. So you're absolutely right. You have to remember you need to make it as easy as possible for anybody, wherever they are in the world, to be able to send you funds in whatever choice they have. Now, remember, some people don't have Bitcoin. Now, just so everybody knows on this, if there's anybody on this call that hasn't got Bitcoin or doesn't even know what Bitcoin is, you can still receive Bitcoin by, as an example, that Bitcoin address is actually a Wirex account. Now, Wirex, as an example, is a company that allows you to hold Bitcoin, but also it's a sterling or any currency bank account, basically, and it allows you to convert Bitcoin into sterling or dollars, whichever you want, internally. It's in your account, and it allows you to receive Bitcoin, and it's free. And you also get a Visa card with it. I'm just telling you this because a lot of people are put off because they don't understand Bitcoin. You can not ever buy any Bitcoin, but you could receive Bitcoin. And all you need is a wallet address, exactly the same. I mean, a wallet address is just the equivalent of your IBAN number or your BIC code in a bank account. Simple as that. So I hope that helps with everybody. I don't think there's anything else to say there. I'm going to ignore that. This is your wealth center, and this is really important because this shows you 2 main things here: open receiving centers, which is your current open receiving centers, and then your closed ones. I'm going to show you very quickly the open ones. So as an example, these are the ones I've got running at the moment. There's my 251. There is my 500, which is just literally opened today. So one has finished, another one's opened, and I've just donated again on that level. There's the 1,000 donation center, the 2,000, and the 4,000. Now, if you notice, there's a similarity happening every time. Did you notice Colin Simmons appears on each one? Also, Paul Sweeney happens to appear on a lot of them. Colin hasn't appeared in there yet, but that might be a new matrix where he will, and he does practically every time. I will show you in a minute. Now, so what I was saying before is you only ever have one open of each level on at a time. You can't have 2, as an example, 4,000. So hope that helps. Now, this is the interesting one, the closed receiving centers. Now, if you haven't finished a matrix yet, you won't have any yet that are closed. But this is my history, and this is the very first day I started. So what happened? I went to bed that night. I woke up in the morning and these two people, whoever they are, just happened to drop into my matrix from above. Okay, so there is the 250, each donated 125 to me, and then I sponsored these 4 people. There's Colin. That was the very first day Colin started, and this is actually the same day, because what happened here is I started a new matrix. I just introduced 2 new people. Colin then pops below this new person here, Brian Harris. I hope you can see this, because this is the loop happening. People follow you every time into your new matrix. So every time just one person, take Colin, pops into that matrix, he donates back to 2 people. 1 here is a new person I've just introduced, and 2 is me. So now if you've got 2 people, there's Paul and there's Colin in the same matrix. They are following you on every level. And remember, behind Colin is all his team, and behind anybody else is all their team, pushing up behind them, which you can't see. Now, you will see some people suspended. I don't want to, I mean, I know you're seeing names here, but let me just tell you, there are people who chose to drop out for whatever reason. That lady there actually received $750. She didn't introduce anybody. She could have, and she could have received that again and again and again, but she chose not to. Don't know why, but that's your choice. So I hope that helps. If you ever want to work out how much you've donated, all you've got to do is count all the different amounts. So I'm not sure how many is there, but times 250 by, let's say, 10, plus however many the 500 levels are, and the 1,000 and the 4,000, add them all up, and it will come to that total that you have donated, with obviously the open receiving centres. So that really is the main, this is your personal participants. If you want to open that up, all your personally introduced people will be in there. That's about it. Your profile, well, that's your profile. That's the date you started. That is basically it. It's quite simple. Now I'm going to log out of here and we're going to go. Colin, do you want to help talk about the new system? Because you actually registered before me, and I just want to talk about that if we can.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Let me just explain that to people while I log out of here, and we'll go into the new system. Let me just go into that. Close that down. Okay, so this is the 50/50 fast. And just so everybody understands, you use the same login details and the same email as your existing site. So don't go and join it yet. You just log in first, and then you would pay your license fee, and then you are ready to donate. Okay, so it's basically exactly the same. The only difference is the levels are just slightly different. So if you go to Wealth Center and open receiving centers, there's the 25 level, the 50 level, and the 150 level. Okay, so it's exactly the same, slightly different in the fact that it, as Casper said, this happens so much faster because, you know, there's so many more people are likely to start because it's a much more affordable level to start with, which is great for everybody. This is also fantastic as well for people in third world countries where $250, you know, for people in the UK, it's not a fortune. It's still a lot of money, but for somebody in Africa or in, you know, some other countries, it's a lot of money. It's a fortune to them. So $25 is much more a reasonable amount to start with, which helps a lot more people get started in a system like this. So think of the people that you know abroad that maybe couldn't get started because of that 250 level, but now they could get started. And you might find it opens up a lot more. Colin, is there anything else you want to mention about? Oh, by the way, I have thought of something. There was an issue today. There was a lady, I think she's actually on the call tonight, who was trying to pay by credit card for the fee. Now, there was an issue. I did speak to Joe, who was in direct conversation with David at the time, and he was aware of that issue. What was happening is people were trying to pay, and it was coming back with failed. Now, I did say, and I will say this to everybody, if you see that, before you go and try it again, make sure you phone up your credit card company to make sure that payment hasn't gone through. Because what I don't want you to do is to pay for it twice. Now, don't worry if it does happen. One, your credit card company will cover it, and two, 50-50 will refund it. But if that does happen, now it has been sorted, so I believe. And also there was another issue on the site where I actually gave the lady I'm talking about a token. And just for the people that don't know, you can buy tokens. It's a code, and you can literally place it in your where you put your personal details, and that will save you buying paying for the subscription. And what you can do is just add that fund to the person that gave you the token, add it to the donation. So just add, can somebody remind me, what is the cost of the license on here? Is it
$19 is for this platform.
Okay, so all you would do is add the $19 to their to the amount that you're about to donate to them. So it works exactly the same way, and that's what I was going to get around to saying. As an example, Colin, I was busy at the time. Colin knew that this site was there, so he got registered. So remember, I introduced Colin. Now, does that bother me? No, doesn't, because the way I look at it, yes, maybe I missed out on $25 donation. No, actually, is it 20? No, it's $12.50, isn't it?
Yeah.
I missed out on that. Does it really matter? No, because as soon as Colin finished that first matrix, he is now back linked to me. So from now on, Colin is there. So don't worry if you have introduced some people and some of those people have got into this first and you haven't. It will all work out fine. Everybody stays in exactly the same line of sponsorship as the previous company. It might seem a bit odd, but don't worry about it because it all writes itself. So because you can imagine if we had to try and get everybody who, as an example, I personally sponsored first to go and register before everybody else came in, it'd be a nightmare because everybody's busy, people are out, people you can't get hold of. So it was just a damn sight easier just to get everybody registered who wants to get registered, and the system sorts itself out. Everybody will end up in exactly the same line of sponsorship. So now, I'm not showing this to brag, but I just want to show you that. Casper, you talked about, how fast this grows. This has only been up, what is this, our second day?
Yep.
And listen, I can tell you, half the people that I introduced don't even understand this yet. They haven't heard about it because a lot of people didn't listen to the recording from David Rosen the other day, and they haven't listened to the recording I posted in the Facebook group. You can't make people listen to something. You try and encourage them to keep up to date with what's going on. But I have not got time to phone everybody and tell them, look, you've got to get going in this because you're going to miss out. Nobody's going to miss out. Just try and get the word out there to everybody. You need to get going in this because this is going to really speed up everything massively.
What I would add, Duncan, what I would add to what you're saying here today is that in this platform, I'm guessing that most people are sending their donations via PayPal. So just as a rule of thumb, never write the word 50-50 fast in PayPal or anything like that. At this time of the year, all you need to do is write Merry Christmas. Because whoever's receiving that donation will know it's from you and they can match up your name with the back office so they'll know where it's come from.
Actually, just talking about that, Colin, I'll tell you what I've started doing. Okay, when you go to send the donation, let me just give you an example. This is donations to send, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Now, on this, you have a donation ID. Now, I would just copy the ID number, not the donation ID, just the number, and paste that into the notes if you're sending it by PayPal. And also always put your name. And I want to give you a reason why. I have got my PayPal in my limited company name, Hatwood Affiliates Limited. Now, if you received a donation from Hatwood Affiliates, but you're expecting it from Duncan Wood, wouldn't you be confused? Well, I was, because I received donations from companies and I'm thinking, who's that from? I haven't got a clue. Now, unfortunately, the person who sent it didn't put in the message, this is from John West. And I would have known who it was. He just sent it from a company. So what you've got to do is think about who is receiving this donation and make it simple so they know exactly who it's coming from. So what I try and do is put in the ID number of the donation ID so that they can relate it back, and also the amount and my name. And then they know it's $25 from the ID number 135, well, it's the donation ID, 13507, and my name, so they know exactly who it's come from.
While you're there, Duncan, again, looking at the one you just shown us now, as an example, this person only has 2 forms of ways of receiving payments. So that limits how that person can get paid.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody hasn't got Bitcoin, they're going to have a problem paying this person.
Yeah.
So the lesson here for everybody is to have as many different options of how you can receive payments.
Yeah.
The better.
Yeah, definitely. So I hope that helps. Is there anything else you want to mention about this?
We can talk about how to share this, because I mean there's a lot of information here today, but really you got hold of something that's real special.
Yeah.
That somebody can start with $25. $25, and I'll spend $19 for the license for 6 months, but it's a $25 donation can get somebody in a completely different place just by sharing this opportunity with people. How do you share it? You just ask people, do you know anybody that is interested in receiving an income or receiving donations from across the globe? Well, how much is it going to cost? Well, have you got $25? Tell me more. I'll tell you what, I've got an 8-minute video that explains it all step by step. Can you watch it tonight, or when can you watch it? That's it. You then send them your website. The link is on the front there, on the screen right now. You copy that link, and that's exactly what you would send them. They can watch the video that's on the front of your website. Hopefully that will make sense. From there, if they've got more questions, you then bring them to the next local Zoom that you'll see. It's as simple as that. You're still sharing your screen, Duncan, just so you know.
It's all right. I just want to show somebody the email you get. Okay, so as an example, great news, Duncan. Kimberly Thompson is sending you a donation. Now, let me just explain. That is somebody about to send a donation. What you have to remember is they haven't sent it yet. Well, I don't think they have. I don't know. But you obviously don't confirm you've received it until you've actually received it, physically received it. All that message is an automatic message that somebody's about to send you a donation. So you now have to wait. Now, here's another point. People send money in various methods. Now, as an example, somebody sent some funds to my bank today. Now, they didn't message me to tell me, and I'm sitting here waiting for an email or something to tell me how they've sent it. Now, it just happened. My wife came in and I said, do me a favor, just check our bank account. And I looked in it and there's a payment come in from somebody who hadn't messaged me to tell me they'd sent it. So I wouldn't, if I hadn't have just happened to check in the bank account, I wouldn't have known they'd even sent it. So my advice is always email the person and tell them that you've sent the funds, and tell them which way or which method you've chosen to send it, and ask them, please, could they confirm it as soon as they receive it? Now they know where to look, because so many people send funds and the person who they're sending it to doesn't have a clue which way it's coming. It could be in PayPal, it could be in Bitcoin. And there's another example, Bitcoin. How do you know who that person is that sent Bitcoin? You need to let somebody know. And I would also as well send them a copy of the transaction to make sure there's no misunderstanding. Yeah. So a few tips there. Hope that helps. Is there anything else you want to chip in, Col?
No, I think you covered it all, really. It's just that people need to make sure that they, as you just said, tell somebody you sent a donation and how you sent it, so they know where to look. And also they know that they need to confirm it straight away as well. The faster they confirm it, the happier everybody is.
Yeah.
When you use PayPal, just put Merry Christmas. Make sure your name's in there so they know where it's from. You don't need to say anything else. That's it. They'll know. Very simple.
Okay, I'm just looking at the chat to see. Somebody said here, is Red Royal says, it seems that the key is to be able to sell the concept to others. Ooh, let me stop you there. No, it isn't. Do not sell it to people. I hate that word sell. You've got to get good at showing it to people. To do this, you need to convince others. No, sorry, totally the wrong words. I'm sorry, Red Royal. Absolutely, totally the opposite. Don't try and convince people. Don't try and persuade people. Don't try and sell it to people. Because if you do that, do you know what's going to happen? How many times have you been sold something that you didn't really want? And what you do, immediately you get home, you cancel it. Because you were sold it. You want people to buy off you. Now, let me explain. As an example, I test people to see whether they're really interested in looking first. So the question I ask is actually a third-party question. And Colin, you use a slightly different approach, but it's very similar. The whole point is I don't ask somebody directly. So if I was asking Colin, I would phone him up. I'd ask him how his family is because I know him. I'd have a chat with him. And then I'd say, listen, Colin, you might be able to help me. We haven't spoken for a while, but I'm looking for people who want to make some serious money. Do you know anybody? And then I'd shut up and wait. I'm waiting for him to tell me what he's about. Now, that is the hardest bit. To say nothing is the hardest bit. If you like talking, you're going to find this the difficult bit, right? Because you've got to keep quiet because you don't know what he's going to say. Now, everybody will come back with two general answers. One is he might say, well, I might be interested. What is it? That's what you hope he would say. Now, as soon as somebody says, I might be interested, what is it? This is where people fall down. Because they think they have to say, oh, it's this company called 50/50 Crowdfunding. And Colin, what's he going to say to me? He's going to say, what's that? And now I've got to start explaining it. And that's the first mistake everybody makes. You see, if Colin said to me, I might be interested, what is it? All I'm going to say, which is exactly what I said to you when I called you, is I'm going to send you a video. When do you think you'll be able to watch it? Now, this is what Colin said to me. I'll watch it now. I thought, great, that's what I want. Somebody that's got some urgency about it, is keen to go and look at it. It's only 8 minutes long. And he did. And the next minute, when I call Colin back, because this is the most important bit. The follow-up is the most important bit. If you do not do this and you're not phoning up to ask people this question, you are losing people. I'll tell you now, because the number of people I speak to, somebody sent them an email with a video on it, but they didn't watch it, right? Because nobody called them. Now, as an example, Colin, I called you back literally half an hour later to say, did you watch it? And you said to me, I like this, I want to get going. And then you joined, and then you said to me, can I get two people on a call with you? Could you tell them what you've just shown me? And I said to you, first of all, get them to watch that video, which you did. And I said, if they want to know more, now we'll arrange a call, which we did. 10 people came on that call. That is what I call moving fast. So the most important thing is that follow-up. Now, I'll tell you how I hear this all the time. People say, I've emailed all my friends. No, don't send an email. Listen, every morning I get up, I've got hundreds of emails. I just delete because I haven't got time to look at them. I don't want to look at them because they're not that important right now. So I just delete them all. Now, occasionally I will keep one and I'll go and have a look at it later if I've got time to look at it. So when you send an email to somebody, nobody's going to place any importance on it. You cannot beat picking the phone up, having a chat with somebody, asking them how they are, they will tell you how they are. I can tell them how I am. Now, generally what I do now is when they say to me, when I haven't spoken to somebody for a while, I'll tell them the honest truth. I'll tell them, well, to be honest, I've just gone through a really bad year. And they say, really, what? Because they're not expecting that. They're expecting me to say, everything's fantastic. No, it hasn't been fantastic, to be honest. Now, it amazes me when you are honest with people and you open up and tell them that you've had a bad year. Do you know what they often say to you? It's not been good for me, actually, either. And then you've got a chance to say, well, listen, that's why I was calling, because I've got something that's totally turned my financial situation around completely in a day or so. And they say, what's that? Well, let me send you this video, and then ask them a question. When will you watch that video? Because now you've got a reason to call them back, and you need to find out, did they watch it first of all? Because if they didn't, if Colin and I phoned you and you said to me, I haven't had time to watch it, which is a lot of people say that, this is what I'd say to you, Colin, I haven't got time to keep chasing you either. If you're serious about making money, which you said you were, watch that video. It's only 8 minutes long, and you call me if you want to know more. It's what somebody taught me as posture. I've just said to that person, I'm not chasing you, which is exactly Red Royal. That's what I'm saying to you. Don't convince people. Don't sell to them. It's totally the opposite. A salesperson thinks they need to go and sell it to people. People that are not in sales think they have to become a salesperson and sell it to somebody. No, don't. It's totally the opposite. I'm not interested. If somebody doesn't want to do this, you know that saying, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink? Well, you can lead people in to have a look at this, but you can't make them do it if they either want to do it or they don't. Simple as that. And if they don't, I'll tell you what they will do. They'll ask you later, how's that business going? They will. And when you tell them, fantastic, and they say to you one day, can I ask you, well, what kind of income have you received? And you show them, they will be gobsmacked, absolutely gobsmacked. Because that's what's happening now. First of all, you've got to build your story. Once you've got your story, now you're waiting for all those people that poo-pooed it, said it was a Ponzi, said it was illegal, said it wouldn't work, said it wouldn't last. You watch. They will come into your business later. Happy days when they do, I'm telling you, because it will happen. The more this word gets out, the more stable and strong this company becomes. Everybody's going to hear about it. I'm seeing people come into that Facebook group. I don't know whether anybody realizes 1,000. We've hit over 1,090 odd people in that room in less than a month and a half. That's amazing. So hope that helps. If anybody's got any questions, Amika, you've got. Do you want to unmute yourself? I've just unmuted you, I think. Have
okay. Yes. Yes. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I am fine. The question I have is as regards 50/50 fast.
Yes.
Today I wanted to make payment. I log in with my, since I'm already an existing member in the 50/50 CF. So I tried to make payment. I was only seeing option of credit card.
That's correct, yes.
So my question is, how soon are we going to have other options like Bitcoin? For we in third world countries, it's more convenient for us than using a credit card.
Well, Amika, you should see the token is available. I need somebody to check for me because there was an issue with it. The token wasn't there because I was actually seeing somebody's screen as I got them a token to use instead of using a credit card. Now I don't know whether.
Okay. Yes, I saw the token. If I buy the token,
yes.
How do I? Because as I click on the to pay the $19, I didn't see where to fill in the token.
Okay.
I only see.
I actually don't know, Amika, because I went in to have a look myself and I noticed there was no box there. Now, I did speak to Joe, who immediately spoke to David, and he said, yes, I'm actually with the programmer sorting it out. I don't know why, but it disappeared. Now, there's obviously a glitch in the system. He messaged me just before this call to say it should be fixed. So if there's anybody who hasn't registered for the 50/50 fast, you could just go in and see whether the token is showing there. It should be where you put your personal details on the top left, as it is in the original 50/50. I don't know whether anybody could.
It is there. If you want to register anew, if you want to register afresh.
Okay, right.
But for us that are already in the system,
yes.
For instance, I had to log in with my personal details that I have with 50/50 CF.
Yeah.
But since I'm in the page, I don't need to sign up again using another email. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Well, Amika, obviously you've still got to pay the license fee, and you've obviously got to donate. So you will need to need that token, if that's what you mean, because if you can't pay it with a credit card, then you do need the tokens.
Okay, meaning I will have to sign up as a new person.
No, not as a new person. You just log in with your existing username and password, and then you pay the license fee, and then you donate. It's exactly the same as if you were starting afresh, but you are already in the system.
Also to add to that, you can actually go to your crowdfunding, the main website. When you're on your dashboard at the top, there's a place where you can go and buy tokens from there. Go into there, buy your tokens, through PayPal or whatever. Once you've got the token, you can use that token to go into the fast.
Okay. Do I send a mail to them? I saw the token, but there was no provision when you click on the pay the $19.
Yeah. Oh, okay. No way to put the token.
Yeah.
There's no way to put the token. Is that what you're saying?
There's no way to put the token.
Okay.
Except for if I'm registering new member.
Yeah.
I had the provision for the token.
Okay. I think Duncan said they're aware of that.
I think they are aware of it, Amika.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, after this call, I'll be messaging Joe to find out an update on it. So you reckon that for somebody that's already in the system, who's just logging in, can't see where the token goes?
Yes.
Okay. I'll check that out.
Duncan?
Okay. Yes?
Thank you very much.
I had the same issue yesterday. I tried to sign up to 50/50 Fast. The system wouldn't accept my credit card, so I bought a token and I wanted to put the token in, but there was no space to put the token in. So I contacted my sponsor, and he contacted somebody, and then they automatically deducted the token and got me in.
Okay, good. There is always a way around it, Eugene, you're right. Just so everybody knows, with regards to the token, if you are buying the tokens, and I would recommend get yourself at least 5 of them, because there's always somebody that needs one. And all you need to do is the person that you're registering, they haven't paid the $19, or as an example with the $29 with 50/50. All they do is add that to the amount they're about to donate to you. So if it's 125 as an example level, then they would just add 29 to that. Or if there's an example, if it's the 50/50 fast and they're paying the $19, they would just add $19 to the donation. Let's say it's they're doing the all 3, and they would add that amount to the donation they're about to send you, and you've now got your money that it cost you for that token. Quite simple to do. Or they could send it you in Bitcoin or whatever you want. Simple as that. Hope that helps. Any other questions anybody's got? Anybody want to unmute themselves? No.
Duncan, it's Nigel.
Hi, Nigel.
Hi. Just a quick one, going back on what you were saying about getting people to join. I'm obviously, you're on the other platform as well, and I had a lot of people saying, I want to do it, I can't afford it, $250. So yesterday when I signed up to the new platform, I went back to all those people and said, great news. The company's lowered the rates. We've now got 3 other platforms now. And from that, I've now got 3 people who said they're going to join on Saturday because they wanted to join, but they couldn't afford to. So what I'm saying is it's worth going back to anybody that said they couldn't afford to. Now's their opportunity to get on board for $44. And it needs to be working.
Yeah, brilliant. And it is fast. I mean, I mean, listen, Colin will tell you, everybody will tell you that's already registered. I've never seen anything. I just didn't have 1 minute of the day. It was like unbelievable what went on. It really was. I've never seen anything grow so fast in my life. Unbelievable.
No, I've never earned money so quickly the last 48 hours, 24 hours. I have. I mean, I got this morning and there were 3 payments waiting to be paid from people I have no idea where they are in the world.
Yeah.
They were there sitting there in my bank. So, yeah, absolutely phenomenal.
Okay, guys, I don't know about you, but I need to get off. Unless anybody has got any more questions, I want to thank everybody for your participation and very exciting times. I keep going on about this, but so many people say this is without doubt the best system they have ever seen. It was without doubt the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me. I love it, absolutely love it. I want to thank every one of you for joining and being part of it. We have a system that can literally change people's lives. Just go out, take it seriously, be committed. And you know what commitment is? Commitment is doing the things you said you would do to yourself long after the mood you've said it in has passed. So commit to this. Keep consistently doing the things every day. You know, you want to look in the mirror every day and ask yourself a question. Would you employ yourself if you employed you? I can see some. No. John, you wouldn't employ JJ, you wouldn't employ yourself.
No way. No. Terrible person.
Well, listen. Everybody is a liar who says they're not lazy. But what you've got to do is have a massive reason why. Because you can't motivate people. You know, we've all been to those wonderful days where you get, these fantastic speakers and you come out on fire and then you get home and then suddenly you go flat, absolutely flat as a pancake. Why? Because in the end, there's only one person that can motivate you, and that's you. And what motivates you is your reason why. Why are you doing this? What makes you get out of bed each morning? Now, I know Colin, he's got a fantastic reason why. It's his beautiful daughter, and that's what you've got to give yourself. And if you haven't got a reason why, start thinking about one. Your long-term, why are you here? Why are you doing this? That is what's going to motivate you, not some guy that stands on a stage that often, is just repeating stuff he learned from a book and has never actually gone out and done anything and built a team of people and experienced what most of the people on this call have experienced. It's not easy. It's hard work. And but this is simple. It really is. So thanks very much, everybody. Thank you, Colin, for helping out tonight. And I think I did record it. Yes, I did. So if we can say goodnight, everybody, I would be grateful if you wouldn't blast my screenshots all over the internet. I don't mind you sharing it with other people privately, but please don't put it all over the internet anyway. Because unfortunately there are evil people out there who want to slay anything that's good, and that's unfortunate people. So thanks very much, everybody. And if you want to unmute yourselves and just say good night. Thanks, everybody.
Good night, Duncan.
Good night, everybody. Good night, Eugene. Thanks.
Well done yet again, Duncan. Excellent.
You're welcome.
Duncan, great call.
Good night. Thank you, Duncan.
Good night, Duncan.
Colin. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.